Android and iPhone users, welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, these phones don't even support podcasting, bro. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Gooplycast. Here's your host, Matthew Carter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gooplycast. Joining me tonight, we have Matt Evans. How are you doing today, Matt?
Doing pretty good.
That's good to hear. And also joining me tonight is Roy Shapinski. How are you doing tonight, Roy?
You know, I'm doing spectacular.
Spectacular because you're going to go buy that Pixel 7 Pro after we're done here.
Joining us also tonight, running the tech on the back end, is Joseph. How do you say her last name again?
Do your best. Let's hear it. I want to hear the estimation.
Oh, no. Oh no, I don't.
Joseph
Oh no, we all
Meacham.
want to hear this now.
Well, how do you say it?
Meacham.
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 Yeah,
Meacham.
there we go.
Okay. Joining us tonight is Joseph Meacham. How are you doing tonight, Joseph?
What's up, gamers? I'm doing pretty well. Got no complaints over here.
Nice.
Very nice. And tonight, nothing too much really happened. There was a small event that happened not that long
Nintendo
ago.
Direct with the Super Mario trailer. That's it.
That's
right?
true. We got to hear Mario's voice, none other than what's his
Chris
name?
Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
I still haven't heard it. Is it bad?
It's not what you would expect it. Like it's not horrible, but it's not what you would expect Mario to sound like at all. Like it's something that you can get over to watch the movie, but it's not Mario.
Yeah.
Bowser, on the other hand, Jack Black did an amazing job with Bowser's voice.
I did hear that.
Fantastic.
He sounded like he was killing it.
Yep. It was really good. Other than the Nintendo event, there was another event from our other major tech company that owns about 50% of the world, from our good old friend at Google. And today they announced several new devices, and we're going to go through tonight and talk about some of them. I think it would be perfect for us to start off with the Google Pixel Watch. As someone who uses an Apple,
Can we stop this right here? Can we just call this a Fitbit? Because that's all it is. Let's just no.
it is a Fitbit.
It is a Fitbit. Hey.
You open the
It is
Google
a
page and it
Fitbit.
literally just says Fitbit. It's literally the first words.
Okay, so first and foremost, there's some Fitbits have more features than the Pixel Watch. Okay,
so
when it
it's
comes
an
to fitness.
advanced Fitbit.
No,
but
no,
it's a Fitbit.
it's not an advanced Fitbit. It doesn't have. There are some features that it has, or there are some features that some of the Fitbits have that this doesn't even have yet.
Exactly, but this is the way that Fitbit is going. Like this is the reason that Google purchased Fitbit. They purchased them for the health features. They are supposedly, like, we don't know what happened to Google Fit, but I'm assuming that it's all gone out of the watch. I'm assuming that there is no more Google Fit anymore, because it's not mentioned anywhere on the webpage. If you look at the people with the hands-on experience, it's all Fitbit for fitness. So this is insane. This is what is a Fitbit. It is. Like
It is what a Fitbit would be if Fitbit were trying to sell a Fitbit watch that was less looking of a fitness tracker and more of a smartwatch.
Exactly. But it is a Fitbit.
I will give you that.
It is a Fitbit. It is a Fitbit with a fancy, operating system.
I still think you're being too harsh. I mean,
Mhm.
you gotta remember that Google bought Fitbit so that they could work its fitness into their wearables. Yes,
Exactly.
That is 100% true.
Exactly.
So they threw Fitbit into the Wear OS.
But so why don't
ecosystem.
okay? So then why don't you just rebrand Fitbit as Google Fit in the Pixel Watch then? Like
People
why-
know Fitbit.
was already such an established
Exactly.
brand.
Exactly. So it's a
So
Fitbit.
you have
It's a
people
Fitbit.
who want a Fitbit, but also want more of a smartwatch, and they're going to go for the Pixel Watch. And then you got people who want the smartwatch, but they don't want a Fitbit, so they're going to buy the Pixel Watch. It's just the best of both worlds.
It's a Fitbit.
I just think calling it a Fitbit is a little bit too harsh.
No, it's
I
a
mean,
Fitbit. It's
But
a
the
Fitbit.
thing, if you go to the Fitbit website, they still are selling their other Fitbits, even though with the Pixel Watch coming out, they're still selling their other watches.
Because
Like,
the
what's
Pixel Watch isn't primarily a fitness tracker, just like your Apple Watch isn't primarily a fitness tracker. That is a huge portion of what it does, but not everybody buys the Apple Watch for fitness tracking, just like everybody's not going to buy the Pixel Watch for fitness tracking, but you're going to go to the store to buy a Fitbit specifically for fitness tracking.
but the Fitbit Sense 2 on their website, it specifically is labeled as a smartwatch, and it's only the Pixel Watch is only $50 more. Like the Sense 2 is $299.95. Like, what's the point of this device if you could just get?
So
you
if
just
you look at Fitbit's website, it's not the it's there. It's on there. It says welcome Google Pixel Watch. So if you look at that, bam, welcome Pixel Watch. That is a Fitbit. And then if you scroll down, it does say help by Google, health by Fitbit. So it's essentially a Fitbit. It is on the Fitbit website being
Do
targeted
other Fitbits
as
run Wear OS?
not yet.
probably not yet, but I'm sure it will.
Then there we go. It is a Wear OS watch with Fitbit
No.
features integrated.
No, it is a Fitbit. It is a Fitbit. I'm telling you.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree. Moving on, we have the Pixel Watch.
Other features of the Pixel Watch, as all of us pretty much use Apple Watches, what are your guys' thoughts on Google, I guess, stepping up its watch competition? Like, I've used Android Wear a bit, and it was pretty disappointing, especially compared to what Apple Watch offered. So I'm just curious of what you guys think about the Pixel Watch as not a Fitbit.
I'm not trying to harp on Google in any way. Okay, this is a first run product. Okay, it is exactly like the Apple Watch was when it first came out, when the Series 1 came out. It has a huge bezel. It is huge. It is like, I mean, it is just, it's big. It's big.
And before anybody harps on the bezel, go look at Matt's 6-month review of the Apple Watch and look how clunky and chunky that thing looks compared to what the Apple Watch looks like now.
This thing is totally different than it was when I first got it. Like, it had complications. It had, it had a ton of different features that it doesn't have now, and that's the changes over the course of Watch OS. But it was a first run product, and that is exactly what this is. I feel like Google should have taken from Apple what Apple learned in it and made the bezel smaller. Like, I mean, that's what they should have done. This should have been with the amount of time that it took them to put out this watch, and owning Fitbit, Fitbit's been in the industry for a while. They should have made this a 3rd or 4th generation watch, being not a first run product. That is my biggest harp on this, and why I would never buy this watch. It's just, and I'm not trying to harp on Google, but Google's had a long time to do this. And it always brings me back to what Apple and Steve Jobs have always said. You don't make a product until you can make it right the first time. Now, we learned on the Pixel 6 that wasn't the case. Okay. But I mean, we've seen smartwatches out there now. Like, they're not new. Like, Samsung has smartwatches. Apple has smartwatches. Google should have learned from both of those and made the perfect Pixel, watch. That's not a first generation product, because, and this is just, and I do honestly want to reserve my right to change my mind if this is anything different when I see it in person at, Best Buy or whatever, because all that I've seen is, from YouTube videos of people who are at the Pixel events and got the hands on. So I'm just going off of video and what I've seen on pictures. But this is totally a first run product, and I think that's the biggest downfall to this watch.
I agree.
I'm gonna echo Matt. First run product. I'm disappointed with how the bezels look. I also reserve the right to possibly change my mind once I get it in my hands and I get a chance to see it. I can almost forgive the bezel thing, because there's a lot of other smartwatches out there that have come out within the last couple of years that have had larger bezels than the Google Pixel Watch. The OnePlus watch had some really big bezels. The Samsung Active Watches, the first line of that, that came out a couple years ago, had some really big bezels. But they're throwing the big bezel out there in congruency with the fact that the watch only comes in a 41 millimeter size.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're somebody with a small wrist, that's going to be okay, and the bezels are what the bezels are. But if you're a person with a large wrist, if you're a medium build guy, or an average guy with a larger wrist, that 41 millimeter is not only going to look small on your wrist, but it's going to make those bezels look even chunkier because of how small the watch is going to look on your wrist. I think that's my biggest critique about the Pixel Watch. I like the way that it looks overall. Like when we saw the images of it without it being powered on, we didn't know how big the bezels were. I thought it was an interesting design.
And you can't see the bezels. You can't see the bezels from the pictures too. I mean, it's totally deceiving when you look at the pictures.
No, when you're swiping through different things and you see, like when you're looking at just the watch.
But when you're looking at the watches, when you're looking at the stock photos on the website, you're not seeing that big bezel. It's
when you're looking at all the apps and stuff.
But it looks like it should look on the Apple website. That's the way they should have made it. Small bezel. The one thing I will say that I like about it is the watch bands and the way you put them on. It looks like it's a unique design, and I'm interested to see that in person, and how the watch bands actually snap onto it. So, I think that's a nice integration that some other watches don't have, and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's patented, but it's still a good thing. But I agree. The size of the watch band is just not, I don't know, the size of the watch itself, I mean, for people like I got the biggest watch, I will always get the biggest watch. I mean, in all reality though, the last few watches they have made aren't any different than the first generation watch. They've just made the bezel smaller and they put the glass screen all the way over to it. Which is what Apple should have done here, or excuse me, Google should have done here. The Apple Watch is we're in Series 8, right? Of the Apple Watch?
Yes.
And Google's releasing their first Pixel Watch, and this is the size of the bezel. I just can't get over that. It's pretty big.
I'm looking at on Samsung's website right now, and one of the things that Google mentioned at Google I/O was that Samsung was going to be helping out with hardware, and just I don't know to what extent hardware Samsung was helping out with, because I'm comparing right now, just looking like at the Galaxy Watch 4. The bezel's way smaller in some of the pictures than what was shown by Google. And so it's like, what hardware what did Samsung...
Probably chips. It's probably chips inside, circuit boards, that type of thing.
Okay.
Is my guess.
Also, like, Google's had experience with smartwatches. They've never made a smartwatch themselves, but with Android Wear, they have had years of work with smartwatches.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Google has had this time to develop this, nice looking watch, and then to see the bezel of the watch in these videos is just a disappointment, Yeah. The other thing that I would say is a disappointment is the price. I mean, this feels like an Apple Watch SE model, and yet it's priced, to compete with an Apple Watch, which if I'm going to buy a watch, I'm going to buy an Apple Watch because it's been out on the market longer. It's been it's been better. It has more experience out there. Now, obviously there's the ecosystem. Some people are going to, say, well, I don't have an iPhone, well, maybe that's a good time to change from Google to an iPhone. And I think that that's what Apple is going to end up doing with their marketing campaigns, is trying to market people to get an Apple Watch if they really want a smartwatch because of the way this thing looks, and the pricing of it, $349 for the Bluetooth model, and then, $399 for the cellular model. I mean, that's a really expensive price.
And if you
I
scroll
feel
through
like.
if you scroll through the website, it's very dry on features. Like if you go to the Apple website, it feels like there's a lot more features listed for the Apple Watch, and there's just especially with how many models Apple has done, there's so many like
it's because
legacy features.
Yeah, and it's because it's a first-run product for Google, and it's not for Apple. I mean, the extra $100 that you get for a cellular model, I think is totally worth it. And even if you don't want the cellular model, like Tim, you have the non-cellular model. I had the non-cellular model for when it first came out because they didn't have a cellular model. But I feel like they could have done better with this, and I also feel like it could have been 5G as opposed to 4G, since like we're still making 4G products. Like that would have been a super impressive new feature that this watch has that the Apple Watch doesn't, because the Apple Watch still focuses on LTE 4G.
I will say this, that if Google can really stick the landing next generation with the Pixel Watch, because obviously this is in the books, it is what it is. If they can really build upon it and follow through and come up with something really more solid next generation, to build more of their Pixel ecosystem, like that's the direction that I want to see Google move, and I would love to see a Pixel ecosystem get built up.
Well, it would be
move to one, but I would
mean,
love to see a more cohesive ecosystem.
Yeah, and it would be, but I think the biggest problem is where Google's able to sell the Pixel, because they can't sell it in as many countries as Apple can. Apple's everywhere. Google doesn't. I can't remember how many countries they're in versus Apple, but it's not a lot. And that's one of the downfalls too. I think having a Pixel, and they don't have good carrier relationships like Apple does. Apple is on every carrier with the iPhone. Pixel is not. I mean, there's less carriers out there now, but I think they're on Verizon. I don't think they're on AT&T though. I think if you want
they are. AT&T's got a deal for the Pixel 7.
Okay, well then that must be new this year. But I mean, Apple has relationships with prepaid carriers now. You can buy these through prepaid carriers, and stuff like that, and use your iPhone on there. And I just don't think that is the same as the way it is with Google. So, I mean, overall though, I mean, if you look at the features, it's a first run product. It's coming in at one size. The pricing is very disappointing. I'm hoping that it'll be less, they'll start discounting it and stuff like that. But
yeah, any final thoughts on the Pixel Watch from anyone?
I think so. Not for me.
Okay. So another great product that Google also announced was the Google Pixel.
Well, hold on. Let's not call it a great product yet, because we don't have this in our hands, and we all saw what the Pixel 6 was. So let's just reserve our thoughts on how it performs and whether it's a good product until we see the Pixel 7.
Actually, I was not talking about the Pixel 7. This is another this is another device we don't know anything about.
Nifty? Can we just say nifty product?
And we won't know until 2023 when this comes out, but the Pixel tablet.
Okay,
Google.
So this I don't have much to say about this because of it, but there is one thing that I really like about this tablet, and it's it's really what I hope the iPad would have all been about, you know, is a docking station for it. And putting it onto a HomePod. Like I really wanted Apple to come out with another version of the original HomePod where you can magnetically snap your iPad on there. I would totally buy that if they came out with one that worked on multiple generation iPads. I would totally buy an iPad for the living room, you know, and use it as a smart device if they created that where you could
And-
just undo it. Like,
Yeah. And there's a couple questions I have about this product, especially with long term on the battery health and then also on the screen. And I mean, I don't know how, I've never owned one of those, like the Echo Shows or anything that's like a display. Do those have screen burn in at all?
no, I don't think anything has screen burn-ins anymore at all. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a thing of the past. Like, I mean, I leave my computer on a lot and, you know, I don't have a screensaver on, but it doesn't die. Like, it doesn't, you know, I mean,
Okay.
my computer doesn't go to sleep for at least 45 minutes, you know, at home and stuff. So, it has different connections when it's on battery power and stuff like that. But for the most part, my computer stays on. So I think screen burn is a thing of the past.
Okay.
Keep in mind too that this whole idea of what they're doing with the Pixel tablet and being able to put it on the stand and basically making it this Google Home type thing when it's in the dock isn't something new that Google has done. Their Pixel does that when you dock it with the Pixel stand. It turns it into a Google Home thing. It'll display photos. It'll act as a Google Home while it's docked on the Pixel stand. So this is kind of the same idea, just on a grander, bigger screen scale. And
Exactly,
a much cooler
but-
dock because it floats on the dock versus the Pixel stand has to sit in the dock.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it's not using the Pixel Home operating system. It's a tablet design. It's using Android. It looks a lot like your phone and stuff like that too. I mean, I like the idea of just having something at home that, you know, I could pull up my security cameras or we could have a joint schedule, you know, or something on there with a tablet form. You know, obviously I wouldn't want to use an iPad Air or an iPad Pro, you know, for that. So I really hope that Google or Apple learns from Google on this and creates a HomePod if they're not already working on it, because I would really benefit from that. But other than that,
I'll
I don't.
talk to Tim Cook about it.
Okay, you do that.
And I'm really curious how this device is going to work because Google has a tradition with Android tablets and killing them off very quickly. Like, look at all the Nexus tablets we've had, and then the previous Pixel tablet that we had that was horrible. Like, poor performance, just didn't do well, and they ended up just killing it entirely. So if Google can maintain this product, then I think it would be a very successful product.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it on it. You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's still kind of early, and they've hyped this up a long time. I don't think it's going to go away right away, but
Yeah.
I mean, if they bomb it like they did the Pixel 6, I don't think people are going to buy it.
And I hope they don't rush through this product. Like, the fact that it's not coming out this holiday season just seems pretty promising because it's not like they're trying to rush this into market.
Yeah.
Any
Well,
final
we'll see.
thoughts?
I mean, they did rush the Google Tensor chip, I feel like,
Oh.
and I feel like that, you know, kind of bombed the Pixel 6.
Yeah.
Nope, that's about all I have to say about that.
All right. Now, on to the main news, the main meat,
Main event.
the main event, the main device. We have
So-
the
Can we just talk about this first, because I feel like it just needs to be mentioned. We all watched the Pixel event and we watched Google call out Apple on something that they've already done in the previous show. And, you know, then Google brings out all these features that Apple has had on their phone, taking hints at them. But
If you
Um,
haven't followed MKBHD, when that
I
was
was just gonna
happening,
say,
like,
I was just gonna say, if you
he
look at
called
his
them right
recap,
out.
if you look at his recap video of it, like it's the first thing he points to all of them right in the first of his video. You should really go watch it because I watched it last night for the first time, and I saw him call him out on social media during the event on it. But yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
was.
he live tweeted it.
Oh yeah, no, he did. It was great. It was great. But I just feel like that was a big. I mean, that was stupid. Like, I mean, come on, like.
And the thing is, like, it wasn't like they called out Apple and then a little bit later they copied Apple. It was like seconds later.
Yeah,
Like not
yeah,
even
yeah,
20
yeah,
seconds passed by.
yeah, yeah. Like, come on. Everybody's gonna make different features for the iPhone. Everybody's gonna make different features for the thing. They're all gonna have the same thing in the eventual time where we never have to get new features anymore. It's just always the same things, because we can't innovate anymore. But I don't know when that day will come. But anyways, okay. Now that we got that out of the way, go ahead, Tim.
Yes. So the successor to the Pixel 6, the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 7, both phone devices. Respectfully, the 7 Pro is $799, and the Pixel 7 starting at $899 for the
$599.
Pixel Pro, and then $599.
$599 for the Pixel 7. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me just say, I ordered before I watched the event because I didn't watch the event live. I watched the pre-recorded event, so I ordered it before. But I was already.
I swear it was I mentioned the fact that there was Face Off Unlock finally coming back, and then like 5 minutes later, Matt.
No. I had already planned on it. I was debating on getting a Pixel 6 Pro or a Pixel 7 Pro, and it was kind of back and forth. But anyway, so the one thing that I did like about the Pixel 7 Pro though is that it's a bigger screen, because I will say when I go from my iPhone to the Pixel 6, like I do see a noticeable difference. I feel like in the screen quality and the screen size. Being that it's a 6.4 inch and I think my iPhone is a 6.7 inch. So I do see the noticeable difference in it, and so that's kind of one of the reasons why I went that way. But I will tell you that I was really excited when they brought Face ID back, or Face Unlock, which, iPhone has had for many years. We've known that, and stuff like that. So it's not anything new, but I still don't get good luck on the fingerprint scanner. Like, I mean, literally, like, I don't have a screen protector on it. I've gone through, I put my fingerprints in there multiple times, and I'm still getting the password multiple times. It just doesn't like my finger. Like, and it's just not as fast, it doesn't work like that for me. Like, I have to leave my finger on there for a while, and then bam, it pops up and wants the freaking password. Like, I don't get it. Maybe I got a faulty unit, but I'm really excited for the face unlock was what they're calling it. Okay, we got it, Roy. We got
This has
it.
a screen protector on it, by the way.
Okay, well, good for you. I have a defaulty unit.
I'm
then.
telling you,
I'm just saying, it either
the
doesn't like,
13 it fixed like every problem.
but
with this.
I have the official version on there, and it doesn't do it for me. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I've watched videos on how I'm supposed to put my finger on it. I get it. It works for you. All the
Can I
power
see one
to
more
you.
time, Roy? Can I see one more time?
Anyways,
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely.
So I always wanted a bigger device. I wanted a bigger thing. I said I wasn't going to do it last year when the Pixel 6 came out, because the Pixel 6 was just so horrible. But I was just like, I'm going to do it. So, and I did it.
Then you saw how much got fixed with Android 13, and you're like, maybe Google didn't mess it up this time.
I'm hoping that the Pixel 6 was a first run product, and I'm hoping that this is going to be 10 times better. I really am. I will say the software updates have been getting better. You know, I don't have as many bugs and glitchy issues that I did before, you know, outside of having to send my phone in for a warranty repair because um it got bricked. But you know, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. So I ordered the white version.
That's the version I wanted.
Sorry. You'll have to get the other one. I will say, I mean, I had the Pixel 4 XL and I love the white version. Like it was great. Like I loved it, you know. It was a good solid color and I liked it and I'm hoping that I'm going to like the new white version from the Pixel 7 Pro. So,
And once again, Pixel 4 XL, peak Pixel, like still my favorite Pixel experience I've ever had was on the Pixel 4 XL.
yeah, I mean, I did like it. I wasn't a big fan of the camera on there. But you know, overall everything else I thought was great on it, you know. And I was hoping that the Pixel 6, you know, was going to be the same, but obviously it wasn't. Um so yeah, so I mean, the main difference, I mean, outside of that, you're getting a bigger battery life and you get some camera changes, but again, there's not a lot of difference between the price or between the Pixel 6 or excuse me, the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. Like again, you know, this was called out on a number of YouTuber videos, you know, and stuff like that they kept the pricing the same, but they didn't, you know, um they didn't, you know, merge the anything else into it, you know. You get face unlock on both of them. You know, I thought the face unlock was only going to be on the Pixel 7 Pro, you know, before the event, you know, and stuff like that. I thought they were going to make that an exclusive, you know, to try and boost people up to it. But again, I don't know that there's a big, you know, a big worth it. You know, I feel like they should have dropped the 7 Pro in pricing.
You know, I was looking at the differences between the two, and you're right. There's almost nothing in between. One of the things, and I know they're both rated for the same battery life, and the fact that the 7 Pro comes with the LTPO display where it, you know, goes from what 120 down to 10 hertz, it can scale it down kind of like the promotion on the iPhone can. um, I feel depending on how you're using your phone, you have the potential to get a lot more battery life out of the 7 Pro than the 7 because of the LTPO display. So, you know, the extra camera, the slightly bigger screen, the better refresh rate, and the getting the LTPO display to potentially give you more battery life, I don't know, might be worth the little extra chunk of change to someone.
Like honestly, I would say the Pixel. Like if I was choosing between the Pixel 7 and the 6, like if that was my choice, I would almost probably get the Pixel 6a. You know, I mean, it's got a slightly smaller screen, but if like I wanted the smaller version of the phone, I would probably just go with that. Like the 6.1 inch, you know, is not that much different than the 6.3 inch, you know, and stuff like that. And a lot of the features are the same. Yeah, you have a different type of, you know, I think you have a different type of screen. No, you do, a full HD. I think you have less pixels, but oh, and you have a 60 hertz versus a 90 hertz. I mean, not a too bad thing, but I mean, honestly, you still get fast charging, you still get wireless charging. Or no, you don't get wireless. Sorry, you don't get wireless charging on the Pixel 6 Pro or the 6a. Sorry, but I mean, still, that's not a huge deal breaker for me. You know, if you're looking at the pricing of it, you know, and stuff like that, I would say almost the Pixel 6a is a worthy competitor, you know, and stuff like that. If they had knocked the Pixel 7 Pro down, you know, at least $150, I think that would be a better, more enticing price point for what it's worth.
When you're looking at hardware, though, you know, the Pixel 6 to the Pixel 7 is um, not a huge increase.
Yeah.
But where Google's really shining with it is with their software, with that Tensor 2 is able to do for like the AI stuff, and that's
Fingers crossed. That
yes.
fingers
Um,
crossed.
as long as that comes to fruition the way that they said it is, not that I'm going to use all those features that the AI has, but I mean, Google is killing it on the AI front, and I think that Apple be awesome to see Apple take a page out of that book and really make some leaps and bounds with progressing Siri. But what the Pixel 7 can do with AI, the new stuff, like that's where upgrading from like a 6 to a 7 is gonna matter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, um, I'll reserve my right, when it comes out, you know, um, to be a little less critical of it, but um, I do feel like they could have shaved the price based off the features and some of the hardware that's in it.
Yeah. One of the features that was announced um, for this device is the addition of a Google VPN coming to the, is it the Pixel Pass is what they call it? It's like
No, it's
there's
called Google One, I think it's
The
called.
Google
Google
One.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google
So
One.
what are your thoughts about Google, a data harvesting company that a lot of people have trust issues with
I mean,
getting
they
into
said
the
they weren't
VPN game?
they said they weren't tracking people after people had turned off the trackers, and now they're being
Mhm.
sued by multiple attorney generals. I wouldn't trust Google with my data. The reserve, like the one thing, um, I don't store much on my Pixel device that I mean I store a lot more on my iPhone. I use my iPhone a lot more. But um like I think there's some things that Google does that nobody else can do, and one of those is email. And so I trust Google with my email, and I often have reservations about it, but I pay for Google Workspace, so I pay for it to get the non-ad version, and hopefully they're not tracking me. I wouldn't believe that they would do a lot of tracking with their paid version of it because they're trying to target businesses and the government and stuff like that. I don't, again, you don't see a lot of like corporate businesses out there that use the Pixel phones because of, being open sourced. The government doesn't use it. They all use iPhones. We learned that from multiple different hearings recently that they use iPhones. And, they use iPhones because iPhones have the best privacy in them, and stuff like that. So I don't, I'm not going to use a Google VPN. I have a VPN service that I use, and I've used it for years, and I'll continue to use it. And I'm fine with that. I don't need a Google VPN service. And I mean, they're trying to target, Google, or excuse me, Apple's, VP. I don't know if you
Private
call it a
relay.
V. I don't know that you'd call it a VPN, but it's a private relay. But it only works with Safari, and stuff, and Mail, I think, those two features. But I don't know. We'll see. It again, they teased it. We don't know what it's going to look like, and stuff like that. And we'll just have to wait and see how it comes out.
I'm just on the Pixel website right now, and speaking of Google One, I just noticed this: the Pixel Pass, where for $37 a month you get access to Google One. That includes 200 gigabytes of cloud storage, preferred care, hassle-free phone repairs, YouTube Premium, YouTube Music Premium, and Google Play Pass, and you get a new Pixel every 2 years to upgrade for $37 a month.
Yeah, well, I mean, $37 a month, and that's for the Pixel 6a.
Yeah.
So
If yeah.
if you're looking at it, so the Pixel 7 Pro is $45 a month, and the Pixel 5, or excuse me, the 7 Pro is $55 a month. And that's basically, I mean, that's kind of similar to Apple Care and stuff like that.
Does Apple still do
it's
that?
They have Apple Care, yeah. I mean, I have Apple Care and stuff like that, but you don't get YouTube Premium, you don't get YouTube Music, you don't get Apple Music
So
with those.
that only gets you the Pixel packs for the 6A, so you couldn't upgrade to the 7 off of that.
No. If you had the Pixel 6A, you would have to get the 6A every month. Otherwise, you'd have to pay extra to upgrade to the Pixel 7 Pro.
Because at first that sounds like that's, if you're into using those services, like that's a pretty decent deal, because $35 a month, I mean, your cell phone payment's going to be
Yeah,
per
I mean,
month,
they claim
$130.
it's $160 savings over 2 years for the Pixel 6A, and then 176 over 2 years for the Pixel 7, and then 294 over 2 years for the Pixel 7 Pro. So, I mean, I don't know. I do the upgrade. I mean, I do the upgrade thing every year with Apple, and again, I'll upgrade again this year when I'm eligible for it, and stuff like that. But I mean, I think Apple One is a much better deal for the price for what you get for it. You get Apple TV Plus. You get Fitness, which I haven't played around with a whole lot. You get Apple News. You get Apple Music. You get extra hard drive space on, I'm built into the ecosystem, so my MacBook and everything and stuff like that. You get the private relay. They do custom domains for your email now and stuff like that. I mean, you get so much more features, I feel like, with Apple One, and that's only $30 a month. So
looking at the Apple upgrade program, it's pretty much, I'm looking at that program right now.
It's very similar. Similar, but you don't get the Apple Music and stuff.
And it's also every year versus every 2 years.
Well, you can probably do every year with the Pixel Pass too. You probably just have to pay a little extra, and stuff like that when you upgrade. I have to pay for the taxes basically when I upgrade every year. So,
right.
So I guess this is something we should talk about because it's kind of new. But Google did announce that they're doing 5 years of software updates versus 3 years, which, I mean, that's a huge thing I'm assuming it's starting on the 6A lineup probably. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing for Pixel, because, iPhones have, long-term software updates for longer than 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 6 years with iPhones, because the iPhone 8 is receiving iOS 16. So we're at the 5-year mark. So next year we'll see if the iPhone 8 and 10 get the next software update. But last year,
Apple has been trying to push that longer and longer and longer. So I could honestly see them still getting security updates. They might not get new features and stuff like that. But when you're allowed to upgrade to the iOS 16, it asks if you want to stay on iOS 15 and only get security updates. And I could very much see that happening with the iPhone 8, just getting the security updates longer and still being able to keep it, but getting less features.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it had to change. I mean, people like to keep their phones for so much longer. I mean, we were talking about the iPhone the iPhone 5C, in our text thread, and we were talking about how that phone is just now obsolete, but there's still people out there with them. I see people with them, all the time, with the 5 too. I mean, I still see people walking around with the 5, out there. So, it's not getting security updates anymore. I don't know that I would use it, but I mean, hell, if they're just using it for a phone, like,
if it works and it's the size they like and those factors, then I mean, keep using it as long as you want to.
Yeah.
But again, I'm very like you. If it doesn't get security updates, I'm very suspicious about using it if it doesn't get regular security updates.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's I feel like it's, I mean, it's important to have security updates, for everybody. And I feel like, you should get security updates, and stuff like that. Because there's pinching and, multiple other things going out there, and stuff like that. I still think the iPhone is probably the most secure phone out there, and it's hard to crack, even older versions of the iPhone now and stuff like that. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I would trust that my older iPhone would be much better versus an older Pixel or older Android device by a long run. I mean,
Yes.
we saw that with Jeff Bezos. I mean, when Jeff Bezos got hacked on his Android phone, and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen, and I think we've seen multiple celebrities out there. I don't recall any other names that, off the top of my head, but I mean, there's a lot of other celebrities out there who have had their Android phone hacked, and pictures have gotten out, or whatever. I think that might have led to his divorce.
We've seen some iClouds get hacked too.
We have, but iClouds aren't end-to-end encryption either. So you have to remember that. Whatever you keep in iCloud is not going to be end-to-end encryption. That's why I use two-factor authentication on there. I would say that the two-factor authentications probably weren't on there at the time for those people. Apple's security is getting harder and harder and harder on, iCloud. So I mean, I have a super complicated password I have to go into my 1Password all the time and pull my password, and I've actually literally been going through and changing all my 1Password passwords because I've gone in there and I've seen multiple of them compromised and stuff like that. So I went through the list and I've slowly been going in and to websites and changing it. And one of the things that, and this is what I love. I mean, most providers do it now. I think Microsoft does it, and I think Apple does it as well on their iCloud service. But so, for example, my email address would be my name and then @mydomain.com. What I do now is I put in my name and then I do the plus sign and then I do whatever the service is. So, for example, Facebook is Meta, so it's my username plus Meta @mydomain.com. And now I know if that email address ends up being sold somewhere else, or I'm starting to get spam off of that email address, I know that Google or Facebook or whatever sold my information and is using it because they're using that email address based off of that. So so that's just another thing that I've been updating as I go along as a security feature overall on all my accounts, and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily use their names and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll put numbers or letters in there and stuff like that just to make it harder for people to guess, so if my information was ever sold on the dark web and they found things, they wouldn't be able to go through and change things up, and stuff like that. So but yeah. So, and then whenever I give out my email address to reward members or reward clubs when they want my email address, I have a username called spam @mydomain.com. And I always give them the spam. I say spam at, and then mydomain.com. And then literally they look at me and go, and I go, yep, it goes right to my junk mailbox. So
I had a coworker who did that, except he would do spam @gmail.com all the time, and they always would look at him and
at least I can go in and look for this, and stuff like that. A lot of websites that require you to give up like you can't go any further unless you give them your email address or whatever. I'll often do none@none.com, and stuff like that, because there's some websites
Me
out there that
too.
force you to do that.
Same
And
thing.
so I went to this website and I did not at none.com and it came back as invalid. So I did none of your business at noneofyourbusiness.com. So, and it worked. So they've obviously got the drift on that, but I was just yeah. So anyways. Yeah. So anyways. I wonder if somebody has that email address, none@none.com, and just like that would just be a cool thing to do for the website to see how many spam messages come to none@none.com.
None. Let me look up
None.com. NONE.
.com. I'm gonna see if
The domain doesn't work. It just says it can't be reached. So
Looks like we're buying a domain, guys.
I think it's already taken. I mean, my guess is that it's already taken. I mean, it's a 4-letter domain. I don't think there's any 4-letter domains out there that are yeah, none.com is already registered.
noneless.org.
You can buy none.uno for $280 a month, or excuse me, $280 a year.
Why are they so?
None,
Why are
Uno?
domains so expensive?
Because it's
They're
a
just
premium
people.
domain. There's a bunch of
Okay.
premium domains that they made, you know. You can get none.accountant. $354. Holy shit. Noneless.one is $12.
I've been wanting
Anyway.
to get my last name for years. Like,
Do you have your
Okay,
last name?
so none.com was bought on May 31st, 95. And it was updated into 2022. We'll see if it gets updated in 2023.
It will.
It is
I
owned
mean,
by None Programs Incorporated.
even when it
out
goes
Paris, France.
even when it goes into, like, even when it gets unregistered, it goes into auction. I mean, it's going to sell for thousands and thousands of dollars because it's a 4-letter domain. So
I have
mean,
the email address of the person who owns it if you want to sit there and barter for it.
no, I'm good.
I've reached out to, because I've been wanting to get vanclaverin.com because I wanted to have my email be tim@vanclaverin.com. But I've tried reaching out to the domain holder and won't respond. So
Yeah, the person who owns evans.com is the same way. He's never done anything with the website. I think it just says it's under construction from Network Solutions. But like I even offered, I said, can I just have an email address on the domain? Like, I don't even need the domain. Can I just have an email address? And never got anything back. I do have it on bulk. So if it ever gets unregistered, that it's on back order. So
I should
They'll try.
register Shapinsky.com and do Roy@Shapinsky.com.
you could,
should.
and then you
Do
could get one for one for Sarah.
available.
You could
It's
get
a-
one for
do it.
Sarah too. Sarah,
Your
get one for
kids, you
Sarah,
can.
and your kids can have one. Chris Perillo does that. He has Chris at Perillo.com, and his dad and all his mom have all their things. So
That's
anyways.
that's what's it called? When you're starting a family, it's when you buy the domain of your last name
Yeah.
for your family.
Oh, but it says it's already registered. I can get. You ready for this? I can get Shapin.ski,
That'd be a good one.
Shapinsky.net, Shapinsky.org, Shapinsky.info, Shapinsky.de.
Because I just registered it. So
My brother bought the domain because
jerk.
we've been trying to buy
I'll sell it to you.
vanclaverin.com.
I'll sell it to you.
We've been trying to buy vanclaverin.com, so instead he bought vanclav.ren. And we had that for a while. I think he forgot to renew the domain and we lost it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think that's everything that was announced, unless you guys have anything else.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Roy? Anything?
It's $50 a year to register Chapin.ski.
That's
But it's
expensive.
This is a premium. It's because it's a premium.
All right, and we're just about at time right now. So that is our thoughts on the Google event that has happened this last week. Any closing thoughts or anything?
I'm
No.
excited to see what Google's got coming in the future as far as, continuing to build on their products, see if they're able to support their products, because as you've said, Google is notorious for basically rolling out stuff, and whether it sticks or not, they still stop supporting it. I'm surprised that we have a 7th generation Pixel, to be honest.
I might do a Twitch stream or something on Friday night, giving off my first opinions of it. And see what I think of it. But
That'd be cool.
I haven't put that on the books yet, but Roy and I did one for the Pixel. What was it? No, the iPhone 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah. So I might do something on Friday. I don't know yet, but
That'd be really cool.
either way, I'll let you know my thoughts if you follow me on Twitter or whatnot. Instagram.
I guess I should follow you on Twitter then, huh?
You already follow me on Twitter. It's on Twitter at Matt Evans Tech.
How is that edit button, speaking of the Twitterverse?
Oh, so so it's gone. It's missing. Well, so the button's still there, but when I try to edit a tweet, it says that I need to subscribe to Pixel One and ask me if I want to learn more about Pixel, or not Pixel One, Twitter Blue. And so I click on it, and then it goes to the early access features, and then it's not there. So I don't know. I did, however, reach out to Twitter. If you do have Twitter Blue, you get premium support. So I did reach out to them, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So they asked for screenshots. So we'll see. But
Interesting.
yeah, I did edit a tweet, and then it's gone now. So, but however, I will say it is on my Pixel. It is on my Pixel, and it works on my Pixel, but it doesn't work on my iPhone. So
It's hilarious.
yeah. Anyways, all right, there you have
All
it.
right. And that about wraps up our GooplyCast show tonight. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Be sure to check out our replays on gooply.com and on any other podcast service that you may subscribe to. I have been your host tonight, Tim, from Matt, Roy, and Joseph. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on the GooplyCast.